Okay, this is going to be a podcast type video, and I consider a podcast a video that's always it's always longer than a usual 10-15 minute YouTube video. So I'm not going to edit this video today. I'm just going to keep it raw, even though I do like doing the graphics and editing. Sometimes you can't beat a raw video where there's no edits, and you can see all the mistakes if there is any. So today we're going to talk about men's mental health, and I'm going to touch on some things that I feel they're really important to me, and they've been important to me for a long time. I've never really spoken about them on this channel. I guess it's like everything, it wasn't the right time, or I had other things on my mind, or making videos for you guys and trying to help you to fulfill your goals and your needs. But yeah, subscribe to the channel if you're new, if you want to learn more about how you can manage your social anxiety better and build more confidence and be more social and be more confident with people. And I know it's an irony at the moment, because you know, when you say the word be social, it's very difficult at the moment with the COVID and the lockdown. But on a positive note, there is light at the end of the tunnel. It does seem like things are improving and we are slowly coming out of it, and I know all of you can't wait, as I can't, till this is over and we can get back in the gyms and getting some kind of normality in all areas, our dating life, our social life, creatively, family, friends, and everything else. So one of the things I've been thinking about, right, is my generation. I was born in the 80s and the 90s, and in my opinion, right, and I know it's a cliche, I know that people always say that their generation's better and the new generation is not as good as theirs, and I don't feel it's that. I don't feel I'm coming from that place, because there's things today that are better than some of the things that we had when I was younger, but there's a lot of things that we had that were far better today. I'm going to touch on them right now, right? So the thing I've been thinking about lately is the damaging effect of social media. And when I say social media, I don't really include YouTube, and I'll explain why, for me personally, right? Because what I love about YouTube, and what I've always loved about YouTube since the platform started, is, you know, it's video. You know, you get to see people. You know, I can do these videos and speak to people, so it's like the closest thing you've got to, you know, seeing someone in real life. And it's creative, and I love videos, and I love art, I love the creativity. I'm a very visual person, very emotional, so I prefer to make a video and express myself and speak in front of the camera, as opposed to sitting on Facebook and writing messages, you know, and writing LOL back and forward. That depresses me. And a lot of the times when you're writing those messages, you know, you can't see someone, you can't see their facial expressions, you can't hear their voice, right? And I know there's voice messages, and I'll get to that, but for me personally, my experience on YouTube throughout the years has always been really positive throughout, for most part of it. It's really helped me mentally, it's helped my mental health, and it's helped me to help so many people, and it's how I've met so many of you good people and built this platform, this community. Whereas Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, they depress me, those sites. I don't know what it is. I've tried going on there with a different mindset, and I just don't like the energy, and I find it really is destructive to my mental health. So I personally did this for me, but a lot of you have liked the new challenge that I've done, where I've deactivated my Facebook and Instagram accounts for at least 30 days. There's no chance in how I'm going to break it. I'm on day 3. I'm feeling good, because I want to break from people sending me private messages at all kinds of times of the hour, which are inappropriate. I need a break from that. It's literally, it was making me feel depressed, mentally sick, and I've been feeling good. I've been working on feeling good, and it's just too fake. It's too artificial. The conversations they're not real conversations. like this conversation I'm having and ones in person. So obviously, like all of us being in lockdown for so long, you can't help to think and reminisce and go back in time, and this has been a positive. One of the contributing factors I really believe today, with so much mental health with men, so much there's so much now that there's more mental health problems now than I can ever remember. More so now in the in the 20s. We're in 2021. In the 80s and the 90s, when I was younger, obviously there was mental health, and there were a few cases of it, but nowhere near as of what we got today. And I put that down to, it's obvious, because of social media. Back when I was younger, let me explain the things that we did, why it was so much better then. And it wasn't perfect back then, and of course as a kid, everyone got down. I got down, I got lonely, I had anxiety as a kid growing up, but we were much happier, and I'm going to explain why. So obviously there wasn't, Facebook didn't exist, Instagram didn't exist, YouTube didn't exist, right? I'm not knocking YouTube, right? But I'm just making a point. I love YouTube, that's my opinion. But we didn't have all this stuff, and there was actually a point where we didn't have mobile phones. If I wanted to contact my friend and go out with him and meet up with him, there was two ways I could do it. Number one is I had to call his landline, I had to call his house phone, right? And that's like a whole other topic I can get into, which was always it was fun and exciting, but it was always a bit nerve-wracking, because when you're young, you're scared of like adults. You respect your elders. So phoning your friend's house, you was always like hoping that their mum or dad would pick up and they wouldn't be upset or bothered, and you was hoping you could get through to your friend. But that was fun. So you'd go on the landline if you had a landline, and you'd sit on the telephone, you'd call up and say, "Hi, excuse me, it's Jonathan. Is so and so there? Is James there? Is Alex there?" And you'd have a short conversation. His mum would say, "Oh, how are you? Yeah, I'll get him. Let me call him," and should call him, and you'd be excited. And then you'd get on the phone and you'd say, "Listen, let's meet up today." And you'd set a time. You'd say, "Okay, we're going to meet at 2:00, and I'll meet you in a particular area. We'll meet in the football pitches, or we'll meet outside the shops, or we'll meet in the estate." And you would honour that. You would follow up on that, and then you'd go and meet, and you wouldn't spend 10 minutes, like you spend the whole day together, or at least 4 or 5 hours. And in that time, it was productive. When I was younger, for most part, like we were quite good kids growing up, right? I wasn't perfect, but we were pretty good compared to some of the other kids in the gangs. So when you'd meet up, we would do something practical, and a lot of the time we spent was we played football. So I'd meet up with my friend, we would talk, we'll go to the shops, we'll get a can of Coke or a can of drink or a bottle of water, or we get something from the shop, some snacks, and then I'd have a football and he'd have a football. We'd go to the football pitch and we'd play football for hours. So it was so positive, it was so healthy. So all that social time we was getting, and we were also playing football, which is obviously a positive thing to do. It keeps you out of trouble, it keeps you fit. And we were fit, we did that for hours. Then when we finished playing football, you'd get some food after. So that's just one of the things that we did. Stay on, there's lots more. So, and not only did you meet up with one friend, and I need to elaborate. So a lot of times, once you met up with one of your close friends, one of the first things you'd say to each other was, "Let's go and call for so and so. Let's go and call our other friend." So the two of you would go to his house. Then you'd call that friend. Your friend would come out. Then you might say, "Oh, so and so's just rang. He wants to meet up." Then there'll be a group of us. There'll be like 4, 5, sometimes 8, 10. So we had a community. And we were not fake friends. It's not like today with social media, where if I go on my Facebook, I've got like 3,000 and something friends, but they're not my real. I don't know half of them. 95% of them, I've never met them. They don't know me. They only know me from seeing me on YouTube. So they don't know me personally. I don't have a personal friendship with them, and we don't go into each other's houses and meet up. So it's fake, and we hardly message. And if someone does message me, it's very small talk. You know, I'm not saying everyone, right? I'm not knocking everyone. Of course, there's some people on some of the platforms, Facebook, who send me genuine messages. People that I've got a relationship with, close with. But for most part, it's all bollocks. It's all for show. It's all like, look how many friends I got. I'm not proud of it at all. So it's artificial. It's not real. You know, they call it social media. I think it should be called its real name. It should be called anti-social media for most part, right? So, you know, and the point I want to make, no wonder today there's so much social anxiety. Like, when I think about it now, I've suffered more social anxiety in my adult life than I did when I was a kid. And don't get me wrong, when I was a kid, I was always a little bit shy, like most kids. I did get anxious at times, but on the whole, we didn't really have time to have social anxiety because we were always socializing, you know. We were always doing exposure therapy. So I had so many friends, and so did everyone else. And the great thing is, you know, where I grew up, I'm just being honest, like, naturally, probably like a lot of you, like, a lot of people did like me. I had friends from all different backgrounds. We just did. I just got on with a lot. There were people that didn't like me, of course, and there were bullies and stuff, and people that I didn't like. But it was just so diverse. I'm not like, I know today's diverse, but it's on the internet. It's not real. So we were in person. We met up, and you know, you can't manufacture that. You can't do that. And social media is trying to do it, and it's failing big time. And I'm not even saying my opinion. This is facts, what I'm speaking, right? So many people feel this way. So, you know, we were getting all that social exposure, and that's why, you know, when I think about it, the mental breakdown that I suffered a mental breakdown at where are we now, in 2017. So I was 34. What was I? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So 4 to take away 3. Yeah, I was around 34 years of age, and I had a mental breakdown, right? I never saw it coming, right? And a lot of my friends have had breakdowns, and I know a lot of you have, right? But, you know, I often wonder, did that, you know, happen to me because of so much time on social media, where back in the day, I didn't have a breakdown. Yeah, I got some depression and anxiety, but overall, I was a happy kid. I had loads of friends, and we met up, and we did things. So that's one of the positives, right? It doesn't just end there. We did other activities. We would go swimming for the day. We'd go down to swimming bars in the summer. We would do this, and some of my friends' mums would organise it, you know. And we didn't have much growing up. I didn't have much. We didn't have much money, but we you know, we made it work with the little that we did have. And I'm not joking you, honestly. When I think about those times, I could cry now. I could cry not with sadness, with like with joy. You know, I'm sad that those days are over. It's really, really sad. So we'd go out swimming in a group of us, and then, you know, after we'd go McDonald's, get food, or sometimes you know, whatever, get chocolate, whatever. So we did a lot of sports. We were fitter. That's why I was such a skinny kid growing up, because I was just always playing football, doing activities. And, you know, we walked a lot, you know, we spoke a lot. So if you were down or depressed when I was growing up, even back then, and, you know, of course as kids everyone had an ego, and there was always that fear of not being a man, and, you know, you didn't want to be seen to be weak, but we could speak to each other. You know, it was not like now, where if you're depressed and you're down, so many people are feeling this. I can speak for a lot of men. They won't tell anyone about it. They're too scared to talk about it. They just don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to open up. But when I was younger, I could say to my friend, oh, I feel a bit down, I feel depressed, or I just something bothering me, and he'd be like, what's bothering you? And we would work it out, you know. It was weird. We were kids, but a lot of the things we did were very mature, like adults, and we'd talk about it, and then you'd be in a good mood within half an hour. You know, we'd go and do something, or we'd make some jokes, or, you know, we would find ways of coping much better. Whereas today, what are you going to do for a lot of us, especially in lockdown, for a lot of people that are depressed? What, go on Facebook and get more depressed? Go on Instagram? and look at all of the fake pictures of everyone trying to get likes, fake likes, and everyone trying to be something that they're clearly not. So it was real, man. It was just so human, if that makes sense. So we did that. We did the football. You know, we played football regularly, and I need to explain this as well. When we played football, we made friends with other kids from other areas, and it was like, you know, they used to make jokes, like it would say like United Nations. When we play football, there'll be kids from all different backgrounds. We'd all get on and play football together, and then I'd make a lot of my friends. You know, I had my own social circle, right? My own close social circle, which was probably about 4, 5 or 6 of us. But I would always make friends outside of that as well through playing football, because you play football together, you team up, you'd be strangers at first, and then after the match you'd be friends. Then you meet up again, and then you might introduce a new friend you've met to your social circle, and he becomes part of it. So we had a community, and it was brilliant, and it was what's missing today. Today we've got the online community, which is, for most part, right? Of course, I know that nothing's black and white. There's always going to be some positives. So social media obviously has some positives, but it's not enough. It's out of balance. You know, there's no real community. So many guys today, especially from my generation, are lost. They just feel disconnected. They don't know what to identify with, because there's nothing really real. And a lot of people have just had enough, self included. So, you know, we had that, and we did other things. You know, we went to the cinema for the day. You know, we went out to we went to the arcade. We played Street Fighter. And there's so many. You know, we travelled to other areas. You know, we went to there was just so many things that we did. We went shopping, and another great thing that we did, right? And this is a big difference. Like, I can remember this was a normal occurrence, and I loved it. Like, there would be like my bedroom would be filled up with friends. Like, one friend would knock at my door, my mum would go, "Oh, you know, the buzzer's gone, your friend's knocked up, let him in." 10 minutes later, my mum would say, or my dad would say, "The bell's gone, it's your other friend, bring him in." There will be 6 of us all playing Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. So yeah, we were at home playing video games, but we were in person. It's not the same, you know. Even back then, I remember the generation saying, "Oh, you kids, you're playing the computers too long." But it was different, because we played the computers in real life. Now most people don't even do that. They play video games online. You know, they're not in person. So when you're playing video games, you're with each other in real life. You're socialising, you're talking, you're laughing, you're connecting. And then obviously, you know, my mum would make, my parents would make, you know, like dinner for everyone, or if we didn't have enough dinner, everyone would get a drink, everyone would get some crisp chocolate, you know, everyone would get fed. And it was exactly the same for me with my other friends. We'd take turns. I'd go to their house, and there'll be about 5 of us, 6 of us, and it was so good, man. You know what I mean? And we had, you know, we weren't perfect. Obviously, all kids can be naughty, but we had respect for our older generation. And today, I'm not saying all of them, but just the way the generations today, a lot of them, they don't have respect. You know what I mean? For elders, they really don't. And we can't just blame them. We have to take responsibility. And I think a lot of it's to do with the social media. It kind of creates this kind of atmosphere where you don't really value people, because you're not talking to them in real life. You're seeing them over you're seeing a profile picture. You know, you're identifying with someone through comments, and it's not the same. It could be anyone. You know, people can be anyone. So we socialize so much more, and it's common knowledge, common sense. I don't have to start, you know, quoting science or quoting psychology. I've got my own life experience. I'm intelligent. I've got a brain. And I know I'm talking to an intelligent audience. We socialised more, therefore we had less mental health problems. We were happier, we less lonely. But the generation today, including me, we don't socialise enough. And I don't socialise enough anymore, and that's why, you know, I get depressed a lot more than I really should, because I'm quite happy outgoing person. That's like my nature. So it doesn't surprise me today that there's a generation of men that have lost their confidence. They haven't got confidence with girls, with women. They're suffering with social anxiety. So I'm going through it myself. It's hard. And like I said, it's I'm not saying we should go back to the Stone Age, and obviously that's part of life. Things evolve, things change, and I'm all for change and growing, but there is a balance. Things do need to be said, and I just think today, I'm not saying people should quit social media, but what I'm saying is people should reduce their time in it. I think they should socialise more, and I can't obviously tell people what to do. That's their choice. I'm not campaigning, I'm just speaking how I feel. And that's why for me, I've come off all my social media platforms apart from YouTube, because I love YouTube. YouTube has always been so far it's been good to me, and it's good for my mental health doing these videos, and I like going online and watching videos. But obviously even too much time on any social media, YouTube's not healthy. So that's something that I really wanted to talk about, and I can imagine how many people from my generation, from the 80s and the 90s, and I'm not, even though today we're talking about men's mental health, I'm not just saying men and women, that are feeling exactly the same way that I'm feeling, or something similar, and asking themselves the same questions I'm asking. Where did we go wrong? How can we put it right? So when we come out of this lockdown, one of my main goals is to start really being a lot more social again, and spending so much less time on social media. And I mentioned some of the things that we did: the football, the cinema, sports. We did sleepovers as well. When we were friends, my friend would stay over at my place overnight. My parents would let him stay. I'd stay at his place, and there was a community. I knew all my friends' mums, and their parents liked me, and they knew my parents. But today it's like we've gone backwards. It's like, and for your intelligence, for your social skills, you need to be socialising, and that's why there's so many young people. I get people writing to me saying, I don't have any friends. I'm not surprised. It's sad, because it's hard to make friends over Facebook, where there's so many barriers, and it's there's too many negatives. So I had enough of it. I'm on day 3 now, and I feel much better. I'm detoxing from all the other social media platforms apart from YouTube, because I love YouTube, and I like the people on here. They're great. And the good thing about YouTube is I don't get private messages, so I don't get bothered with that. People comment on the videos, and I can get back to them when I want, and most of it's positive. So it's a lot less intrusive. I find with Facebook and Instagram, it's too intrusive. People can just send you private messages whenever they want, and sometimes it's not appropriate, like you're with your family, or you're going for a walk, or you're busy and you're getting pinged with these messages, and you're trying to watch a film. I had to come away from it. I don't want to be a part of it. I don't care anymore about getting fake likes or having all these people. I got to a point, I'll be honest, where I just stopped taking friends requests, because I was getting all these people adding me that I don't know. You know what I mean? And they're never really gonna meet me in person. What's the point? Just for the numbers to go up? It's just a load of BS. I'm not interested in it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm a big advocate of helping people with social anxiety, because of battling with it myself, and really progressing well with it in periods, and overcoming it, and then it coming back again and struggling with it. So it's more action, man. You've got to take more action, and obviously we can't at the moment. We're restricted because of the COVID, but I'm positive, and a lot of us are, that it's going to be it is going to come to an end soon. And other things we did as I got a little bit older, we went gym together. There was just so much more community. And I forgot to mention, with some of my friends, we travelled. One of my good friends, travelled for 2 weeks, went and stayed outside London with my other family, and he came with us, and we were on the beach, we were in Portsmouth. I'd loved it, man. It was amazing. Every day going out in Portsmouth on the beach in the summer, going to the swimming bars, going to the arcades, walking around town. You can't beat that. I'm sorry, but there's no amount of Facebook that could ever replace that. It can't do it. I don't care what technology they come up with. And that's why, for me personally, I don't do online dating. I don't contribute. It's people's choice. And I want to explain this. So there's a lot of guys today, me included, who are really struggling to get a girlfriend and meet a woman and just have a genuine relationship with women. And it's for all the reasons I just said. It's the social aspect, because we're losing our social skills. And when I was younger, it wasn't perfect, but the great thing is in my neighbourhood, I had female friends that were lovely, and if you wanted to meet a girl, we didn't have any online dating, it didn't exist, right? Thank God back then. So the way you had to do it was you'd get introduced, you'd know a friend of a friend, and they would introduce you to a girl, and if you liked each other, and as young men you still had to have the courage and ask a girl out. So I had a female friend who said, oh, one of my friends fancies you, likes you, do you like her? And I was like, yeah, I do like her. Would you like me to introduce you? Yeah, would love to. But I still had to do my part. I still had to face that fear and face that social anxiety and introduce myself, say my name, basic social skills, and then ask her out, and then it would work out. But we don't have that today. I can't even imagine now. I don't have it. I've lost touch with everyone. So I don't have any female friend who can introduce me to their friend, and I'm not doing online dating, which is why for me personally, I've always preferred, as time moved on, meeting women in real life. That's kind of out of the question at the moment because of COVID and the rules, but once these rules go back to normal, then I'm looking to get everything back on track. So I can honestly say, it's funny, it may sound like I'm ranting, which I don't feel I am, but I've never felt so positive from saying these things, so I obviously had to get this out. And I mean, if people receive it that way, I'm sorry for you if you feel it's negative, but this feels very positive to me. I'm a positive person, I'm in a good mood, and I'm raising more awareness for men's mental health, and these are a lot of the issues that so many men are going through. And it's not just we've got the youngsters today, obviously the new generation, who are suffering so bad, which is terrible, and they need to get help. They need to speak to their parents. They need to find a community. They need to maybe get some professional help and see a doctor, or get back into sports. And it's funny because I've been listening to the boxing community, and a lot of the amateur boxing gyms at the moment have really suffered because they've had to close the gyms down and the kids don't have anything to do. So that's a whole other issue. But I'm a person, I believe in I don't believe in complaining things and not doing anything about them. I believe, okay, a bit of complaining, it's human, but more a solution. And I've come up with a solution. When the COVID ends, we've got to start socialising more. I think people are going to do that anyway. That's going to be, that's going to be a reaction to being caged up and isolated for so long. So positives, I'm a huge believer in every negative. There's 3 positives if you look close enough and you choose to. So, like I said, there are positives of social media. I'm not saying we should completely ban it. I've never said that. It does give, especially a lot of people, the opportunity to build businesses. Sometimes it bridges the gap if you want to, connect with someone who's across the other side of the world. You can do it that way. So it can be a good tool depending on how you use it. My point with social media is too much time on social media has a terrible effect on your mental health. It really does, and it gives you social anxiety. Of course you're going to have social anxiety. Of course you're going to have social phobia if you are having long periods away from talking to people and you're on a machine, on a virtual machine. You think that's not going to affect you. You think that's not going to affect your intelligence, your brain. your communication skills. It does.